Hello everyone, I'm Landon Schlungen. Today we are going to learn form validation by building a calorie counter. There are 96 challenges on this one, so it might take a while. Looks like we're going to be using regular expressions, template literals, and add event listener method and more. And yeah, very standard stuff in JavaScript, so let's take a look. Here's what we're going to be building. Daily calorie budget. I don't even know how this works. Add entry. Oh, and then we add a breakfast and its calories, then it's probably going to add it up or something. That's my guess. Fill out our daily calorie budget is actually going to be like, what, 3,000 or something. And then we just make sure it's under that. Ha! Something like that. I don't know. All right, let's start building. Yep, it's going to be a calorie counter form that enables users to input their daily calorie budget and calorie counts of various meals. Then we'll calculate and display whether the user is in a calorie deficit or surplus. We need to um, add a form element and give it an ID set to calorie counter. All right, so add a form ID equals calorie counter. Make sure to end that tag. Good to go. Next up, we need a label element. Give it a for attribute set to budget and the text budget. And then we need to create an input element. Input element with its ID set to budget. I think this is fine. Let's try. Yep. Our input needs some additional attributes. We need a type set to number. And we need a min attribute set to 0. And a placeholder set to daily calorie budget. There we go. There's our input box. Oh, finally mark it as required. All right. There we go. Never mind. I have this calorie spelt wrong. All right, now we're good to go. Step 4, we need a field set element with an ID of breakfast. And then within this element, we need a legend. I normally don't use field sets, but FreeCodeCamp seems to love them. All right, legend with the text breakfast. And an empty div with the class of input container. I should probably add a slash here. All right, let's check that works. Next, we need another field set, ID set to lunch. I'm just going to copy this and change up some stuff. We need this ID set to lunch and probably lunch and yeah. All right, so I can do Control D to select them both at once, and then I type in lunch, except this one has to be uppercase. All right, there we go. Continuing the pattern, do dinner. All right, copy, paste, Control D, dinner, uppercase this dinner. We need one for snacks and one for exercise. Let's copy 2 of these down. This one will be snacks. And this one will be exercise. Go. All right, when users want to select a meal type to input their calorie counts, they should be presented a drop-down menu and a button to add the meal type. So that's why we need a div element with a class set to controls. Div with class set to controls and a span inside of that with, yeah, just a span, okay. That should be fine. In our span element, create a label element. All right, label, and give it a text of add, wait, no, for an entry drop down and give it a text. Oh, okay, so I need a for attribute set to entry drop down. I'm pretty sure. And then the text has to be add food or exercise. And then end off this label. And then we have to create a select element. Select with the ID of entry dropdown. And a name set to options. And below that, add a button. Make sure to end off the select. Below that, we need a button element with an ID set to add entry and a text of add entry. Make sure to end off that button and give our button element a type set to button. All right, and type equals button, and that is in order to prevent automatic form submission. All right, let's move on. All right, now we need to add our options for our select element, and that goes right here. It wants breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and exercise as the options. So let's get on that. We need option 1 as ID value, actually. They want the value to be the ID breakfast for the first one. And then it's text, which would go inside of the tags to be uppercase breakfast. And then they want us to do that for lunch, dinner, snacks, and exercise. So let's just bring this down a few times and change these. All right, make sure to uppercase these ones. And there we go. There's our options. It does say we have to set breakfast as the selected option. So I think we can do that by typing in selected here. I'm not exactly sure if that's correct or not, but let's check. Seems like it works. All right, perfect. Create another div element within it, nested button to submit the form. All right, div. Within it, we need a button to submit. All right, button type equals submit. And what text does it need? Calculate remaining calories. All right, paste. Then add a button with the ID set to clear. All right, button ID is clear. And then this has to have text of clear and type attribute of button so that it doesn't submit the form. Clear, and make sure to end this tag. All right, I think that's correct. Yes, it is. Our form needs somewhere to display the results. Add an empty div and give it an ID of output. ID of output. Give it a class values of output and height. There we go. Make sure to end this div. Should be good to go. Yes. Finally, we need a link to our JavaScript file to our HTML. Create a script element. script. I guess that's all they want us to do for this. Um, okay, actually, they do want us to do the source, but they didn't really tell us to. Source equals /script.js. There we go. Time to start writing some JavaScript. Let's go. All right, begin by getting the form elements and storing in a variable called calorie counter. Let's calorie counter equal document dot get element by ID, and the ID is what, calorie counter or something? What is it? The form is calorie counter, yeah. Calorie counter, like that, I think. Let's try. I did calorie counter, not bad. There we go. Yes, perfect. All right, give our budget elements and assign it to budget number input. Okay, I guess they want us to use const because they changed it to const from let number input equals document dot get element by ID. This time it has to be entry dropdown. Wait, no, budget. And we have to do another one. Okay. Copy this down. We need entry dropdown. And the hashtag entry dropdown. Although if we're getting element by ID, then we don't have to add the hashtag in front because it's in the name, we're grabbing it by ID anyway. Next thing, we need to assign our add entry to our add entry button. All right, so a couple more of these and clear button. Okay, so this one has to be add entry button. So that would be add entry, and then the next one is clear button with an ID of clear, yeah, clear. Bring this down. We need output to be set to output. All right, outputs, output. All right, that should be good. It is. Next step. In programming, prefixing a variable with is or has is a common practice to signify that the variable represents a Boolean value. Yep, so like let is running equal true, let has completed equals false. Um, pretty pretty common practice. Declare the variable named is error using let and initialize it with false. All right. Let is error equal false. Later on this project, we will update the value of this. Okay. When the user inputs their daily calorie budget, the input field will only accept numerical values. However, if a number is entered with a plus or minus sign, you'll need to remove those characters. Start by declaring a clean input string function that takes a string parameter. Okay, function clean input string that takes a string as the parameter, and it should be empty right now. Yes. All right, to match specific characters in a string, we use regular expressions or regex for short. And here's an example of a regex where it checks if there's hello in a string. Declare a regex variable and assign it the value from the example above. Okay. Let's just copy and paste this. Let's move on. Current pattern will match the exact text hello, which is not the desired behavior. Instead, we want to search for plus or minus in it. So we need to replace the pattern with backslash plus minus. I think just right here. And then note that we need a backslash to escape the plus. Okay, yeah. So we need a backslash plus in order to get literal plus. Otherwise, plus means something different inside regex. That's the reason why we need that. All right, in regex, shorthand character classes allow you to match specific characters without having to write those characters in your pattern. Shorthand character classes are preceded with backslash. Okay, so backslash s is something um, it will match any white space character, and so that would be any spaces. So in this case, add it to our regular expression. I think I can just add it to the end, so like backslash s. There we go. That works. All right, it won't work just yet. It looks for plus, minus, and space in order. We don't want it to be in order. We just want it to be if it has any of those. So to tell the pattern to match each of these characters individually, we need to turn them into a character class. And the way we do that is by wrapping them in a square brackets. So I think we just have to wrap this stuff in square brackets, and then we should be good to go for this challenge. There we go. Maybe not. We need to escape the plus character. Am I not? Right here. I thought I was. Note that you no longer need to escape. Okay, we don't need to escape it. That's what they want. Okay, because it's inside. I read that wrong. Rejects can also take specific flags to alter the pattern matching behavior. In this case with the G, and then it's global, and it will continue looking even after it's found the first match. And so we do need to add a G. Step 24 looks like we're going to be using replace. And it replaces characters from one string, gives it another. I mean, it's right in the word. All right, since strings are immutable, the replace method returns a new string. In this example, the replace method is used to replace all instances of the letter L with the number 1 in the string hello. All right, because we're doing hello.replace. All right, so use a regex to replace all instances of plus minus and a space in string with an empty string. Okay, so I think we have to do string.replace equals, wait, no, string.replace, and we have to add in our regex with empty string. All right, and then we have to set that, oh, just return this value. Okay, there we go. Return string.replace regex with empty string. Let's check, that does work. Now it's time to test our function. Inside our clean input string function, add a console log with 2 arguments. The first will be the string original string, the second will be string parameter. Console.log original string with the space. And if I do a comma string, then it will just add a space in between these and console log both of them. Let's move on. Let's see the results. We'll need to add a console log statement. Inside that console statement call, okay, let's add a console log statement here. We need to call the clean input string function. And we're going to add the string value plus minus 99. Open up the console and we should see that it has removed the plus and minus, which it has, and we just get 99. Even if I add a space in here, then it will still be 99 because it gets rid of spaces as well. All right, we finished testing them so we can remove our console log statements. To get rid of a whole line like that, you do Control-Shift-K, and it will get rid of the whole line. Okay, so in HTML, number inputs allow for exponential notation such as 1e10, and we actually have to filter those out as well. So start by creating a function called isInvalidInput. All right, function isInvalidInput. It should take a string parameter. There we go. Declare a regex variable. Const regex. And that is assigned to a regex that matches the character E. All right, so how would we do that? I'm pretty sure we just have E in there. There we go. The E in an number input can also be an uppercase E. Okay, so the flag for um, catching uppercase or lowercase letters is the I flag. And that would come after, and it stands for insensitive. So it's insensitive case. The following rejects would match hello, 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 and even hello because of the I flag. This flag makes your pattern case insensitive, yes. Okay, so we just have to add an I for this challenge. Number inputs only allow the E to occur between two digits. To match any number, you can use the character class 0 through 9. All right, add this character class before and after E. All right, so 0 to 9, and then also after E, like so. All right, let's check, that works. All right, the plus modifier allows you to match a pattern that occurs one or more times. All right, for example, 0 through 9 plus will match like any number, I'm pretty sure. So we have to add a plus after each one of our number classes. So I think we just have to add a plus here and down here. Right, I think that will work. Yes, it does. There is a shorthand character class to match any digits, and that is with \d. So we're going to replace 0 through 9 with \d. Okay, perfect. Control D, \d. Amazing. Strings have a match method, which takes a regex argument. The match will return an array of match results containing either the first match or all matches if the global flag is used. Return the result of calling the match method on string and passing your regex variable. You'll use this match result later on. Return the result of calling match method on string. Okay, so return string.match. I'm passing your regex as the variable as the argument. Okay, so I think that's all we do. This will actually return true or false. Now it's time to test our isInvalidInput function. All right, so I guess we're gonna have to console log or something. We want to check if the function can detect scientific notation like 1E3. All right, below that, inside a console log, we need to call isInvalidInput with an argument of 1E3. Open up the console, see the results. Okay, so match is not returning true or false. It's actually returning this, I think, which looks weird to me. Yep, I did see that result. 1E3 is the matched value. Index 0 is the index of it. Input 1E3 is the original string that was matched. Groups is matched groups, okay. Open the console, you will learn more about what this means in the next step. Update the console to 10. Let's see what that is. It's just null because it doesn't match anything. The match method returns null when no match is found. In this case, its invalidInput function should return null. Null in JavaScript is a special primitive that represents the intentional absence of value. Yep. Okay. Now we've finished testing. You can remove console log, delete, and then move on. The next step is to allow users to add entries to the calorie counter. Declare an empty function called addEntry. Function addEntry. This function should not take any parameters. All right, there we go. We need to know which category the entry goes in. Thankfully, we added a drop-down for the user to select a category. Remember that we already got that with entry drop-down. Use concatenation to add a hashtag to the beginning of the value property of entry drop-down and assign that result to a target ID variable. Okay, so we need to do let target ID equal entry dropdown dot value. I think that is what they mean. Here we're getting entry dropdown with get element by ID, and we're grabbing the value from it and setting it to target ID. So I think this is correct, maybe not. Your target ID, oh, I need to concatenate it, right? Okay, so I need a hashtag right here with a plus, and I think now it will work. Yes, perfect. Now we need to target the input container elements within the element that has your target ID. Declare a new target input container variable. Okay, let's target input container variable and assign it the value of document dot query selector. Use concatenation to separate target ID and the input container with a space, and pass that string to query selector. Okay, so I need target ID plus space dot input container. I think that's correct. Yeah, okay. All right, JavaScript has a feature called template literals, which allows us to interpolate variables directly within a string. They're denoted with backticks, and then we can use a dollar sign, curly braces around it to put like variables in there. For example, hello, my name is, this would be Naomi because the name is Naomi. The console will show, yep, and then replace your concatenated string in the query selector with a template literal, okay. And make sure it's the same type of thing. All right, so I need a backticks, and then inside of here we need dollar sign target ID, and then ASCO dot input container. Okay, so let's just delete this, move this inside, and delete this last. There we go. That should be correct. Yes. And thanks to template literals, we don't need the target ID variable at all. Okay. Replace target ID with entry dropdown dot value, and then just make sure we have this. Okay, so delete and put this there. Except we need a hashtag before the dollar sign. And then we can get rid of this. And that should be good. We will want to number the entries a user adds. To get all the number inputs, you can use query selector all. Okay, it returns a node list of all the elements that match the selector. It's an array-like object, so we can access the elements using bracket notation. Declare an entry number variable, const entry number, rid of value of this. You do not need to pass an argument to query selector all. All right, perfect. Okay, so we actually have to pass the string input type equals text to our query selector all, and that will grab all of our inputs, and it will return a node list of, yeah. And I think this should be fine, maybe not. Should pass, oh yeah, it has to be a string as well, so we have to use the single quote strings in order to grab it because we're using double quotes inside of it. You should access the length. Okay, and then we have to go dot length at the end. Okay, I think. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Now we need to build your dynamic HTML string to add to the web page. Declare a new HTML string variable, const HTML string, and assign it to an empty template literal. Okay, I'm not sure why that's highlighted like that. Inside your template literal, create a label elements. Okay. Create a label element inside of, okay, so we need what, like $sign label? Wait, no, label element. This makes no sense to me. Give it a, inside of the template literal, create a label element and give it the text entry hashtag name. Using your template literal syntax, replace hashtag with the value of entry number. Create a label element. This literally makes no sense. Why are we doing it inside our template literal? Right, oh, maybe, okay. They want to literal, like, label elements like this, I guess, and give it the text of, oh, okay, entry, hashtag, name. That's what they want. Replace hashtag with the value of entry number. Okay, so $sign like this, entry number here. Okay, there we go, perfect. Whew. Give your label element a 4. Okay, so we're gonna go 4 equals x hashtag name, and where x is the value of entry dropdown element and hashtag is the value of entry number. Okay, so we have to do $sign here, x is the value of entry dropdown, dot value. Do we have to do a dot value? We might have to. And then the hashtag is entry number once again. $sign entry number. Okay, let's see if that works. It does, perfect. After your label elements, where's our label element? Right here. And on a new line in your template string, okay, a new line, we need to create an input element. Okay, input, give it a type attribute set to text, type equals text, a placeholder equal to name, and an ID of that matches the for attribute of your label element. Okay, so it has to be this entry dropdown dot value. Copy, paste here. Make sure to end that quote. I think that is correct. Let's try it. No, it's not. Our input element should have a type set to text. Does, but I'm not ending my input, so I need that thing there. Okay, our input element should have an ID set to that dash name. Oh, oh. Okay, so it has to be this whole thing here. Okay. Let's paste that. There we go. Should be fine now. Awesome. Create another label element on a new line. Okay. Another label element. Should have the text entry hashtag calories. Okay, let me just copy this label down. This one should have text entry hashtag calories instead of name. Calories. Replace the hashtag with the value of entry number and the for attribute of x hashtag calories. Okay, so instead of name, we need calories. X is the value of entry dropdown, entry number. Okay, should be good. Let's move on. Finally, on a new line after your second label. After our second label, yeah, new line. We need another input. Okay, so let's just copy this input, put it here. This one needs to have a number type, min set to 0, placeholder of calories. Okay, number type. names or min of 0, min of 0, placeholder set to calories, placeholder of calories, ID attribute that matches the 4 of your second label element. And I think this is fine, except name has to be calories. I'm pretty sure. Let's try it. Yay, let's go. To see our new HTML content for the target input container, you will need to use inner HTML property. Okay, so yeah, we're going to set this to inner.html, and then when we click a button or something, it will actually show up on the page. So use the addition assignment operator to append our HTML string to a variable to target input container.inner HTML. Okay, so we have a target input container here, and we're gonna do .inner HTML equals our HTML string. Paste that there. Let's check it. I have to use plus equals now. Plus equals. In our role-playing game project, we learned how to set a button's behavior by editing its on-click property. We can also edit it using a add event listener. Okay, so here's an example of how to do an add event listener. Here we did add event listener click of print name, and so now when we click our button, it will do this function. Okay. Call the add event listener method on the add entry button. Add entry button, but add event listener, and pass it click. Okay, so it's a click event, and it has to take in our function. What's the function name? Function is add entry. And it's just reference, so we don't need to call it. Perfect. And now when we click it, I think it should, yeah, it adds that stuff here. Cool, 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 cool. We can try adding a couple of entries, and we may notice some bugs. Should have a count of 1, not 0. The bug occurs because we are querying this before adding the new entry to the page. To fix this, update your entry number variable, or to the value of length of the query plus 1. Update our entry number, our length plus 1, I guess. Add this to your declaration line, not in your template strings. Yeah, okay, yeah, declaration, okay. That should be fine. Our other bug occurs if we add a breakfast entry, fill it in, then add a second breakfast entry. You'll see that the values you added disappeared. It's because we're updating inner HTML directly, which does not preserve our input content. Okay, so we need to change our inner HTML assignment to use the insert adjacent HTML method. Okay, I've never used this before, ever. um, of target input container. Oh god. Okay, where is this? Target input container down here, right? Something. Okay, right here. Paste. Right there, like that. Do not pass any arguments yet. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, obviously it doesn't work. You should not access inner HTML. Insert. Okay, I delete this. Let's try that. Okay, there we go. The inner insert adjacent HTML method takes 2 arguments. The first argument is a string that specifies the position of the inserted elements. The second argument is a string containing the HTML to be inserted. For the first argument, pass a string before n. Okay. Before end here. I'm learning along with you on this one. To insert the new elements, as the last child. Yeah, okay, so pass in HTML string as a second argument. Check that, it works. Great, now we can add entries without losing our previous inputs. Okay, so add entry. If I add entry again, then it will keep going down. Entry 2, entry 3. What if I clear? Clear doesn't do anything. All right, now we can, declare a get calories from inputs function. Okay, function get calories from inputs. Give it a parameter list. I keep spelling calories wrong. In our new function, declare calories variable. Const calories. Oh, I have to use let because we're going to change it later. Calories to 0. The list parameter is going to be the result of a query selector, which will return a node list. Okay, we learned how to loop them in previous lessons. A for loop is a loop used to iterate elements. Okay, create a for of loop that loops through the list. Okay, so like this, kind of. So we're going to go for const item of list, and then we have to probably add up calories. Let's move on. Okay, instead of our for loop, we need to assign item.value to const per value equals item.value. Perfect. Move on. Item.value, not value. Okay, move on. Step number 60. Remember that we wrote a function earlier to clean the user's input? We need that function here. All right. Update our current value to be the result of calling clean input string with item.value. Okay. Clean input string, and then we just have to put parentheses around this, and there we go. Also need to confirm the input is valid. Okay, declare an invalid input match variable inside of here, I'm guessing. Const and set it equal to is invalid input with current value. Okay, so copy this, and we have to put in current value. Okay, there we go. It returns string.match, which is an array actually, and it will return null if no matches are found. Okay, they can be truthy or falsy. Okay, so null is a falsy value, but the truthy value is the array. So I think what we can do is we can just use an if statement then. Okay, so we need to, do an if condition. And just add an if, I guess. If invalid input match. And then I think leave it empty for now. Let's try it, yes. Browsers have a built-in alert function. It will do a pop-up. It's usually pretty bad practice to use them all over the place, but here we want to use them. Okay, so we need to add an alert function using a template literal call to tell the user invalid input. Okay, so I think I need followed by the first value. Okay, invalid inputs. And then we have to do $, first value of this. Okay, so that would be copy, and then the first value would be index 0. I think that's what they want, and it is perfect. In programming, null is meant to represent the absence of value. In that case, if the user enters an invalid input, you want to alert them and then return null to indicate that the function has failed. Still within your if block, set is error to true and return null. Oh, here's where we're using that is error. Yeah. So is error equals true. Next, okay. And then return null. Return null. Okay, perfect. Remember that return ends the execution of a function. After your if block, you need to handle logic for when the input is valid. Because your if statement returns value, we don't need an else block. Yep. Next, use the addition assignment operator to add current value to your calories total. Okay, so current value, I think down here we can do that. Um, Calories plus equals current value. That will add those up then. You'll need to use the number constructor to convert current value to number. So the way we do that is just by number and then inputting that in parentheses. So number and then current value inside of that. Perfect. After your for loop has completed, return the calories value. Return calories. Perfect. Oh. Step 67. Now it's time to start putting it all together. Declare an empty calculate calories function. Function calculate calories, which takes a parameter of e. This will be an event listener. So the first argument passed will be the browser event. E is a common name for this parameter. You'll be attaching this function to the submit event of the form. The submit event is triggered when the form is submitted. Default action of the submit event is to reload the page. You'll need to prevent that with prevent default method on your e parameter. Okay, so e.prevent defaults. It's actually very important to do. I've had issues where I miss this and then I spent like hours debugging it. Okay, add a line to your calculate calories function. That calls the prevent default. Okay, and then reset. Then reset your global error flag to false. Okay, so is error equals false then. I think that's what they want. Yes, perfect. Your function needs to get the values from the entries the user has added. Declare a breakfast number inputs variable. Const, paste that in, and give it the value of calling document.querySelectorAll. Copy with the selector of this. Okay. Copy, paste. This will return any number inputs that are in the breakfast element. Okay. That works awesome. Using that same syntax, query your number inputs in the lunch elements. Okay. So bring this down. Instead of breakfast, I'm going to do Control D and do lunch. I think that will work. Yes, it does. I think we have to do it for all of them. Dinner, snacks, exercise. Yes. Okay. Bring this down a few times. Instead of lunch, we need dinner. Instead of lunch, we need snacks. And we need exercise. Exercise. Okay, perfect. Now that we have our list of elements, we can pass them to our get calories from inputs function to extract the calorie total. Okay, so declare a breakfast calories variable and assign it the result of calling get calories from inputs with breakfast number inputs as the argument. Okay, so I need to declare a breakfast calories variable. Const breakfast calories variable equal to the result of calling get calories from inputs, and it has to, I need to pass in this variable here. Let's try that, it works. Now declare lunch and do the same thing, okay. So I have to do this 5 times now, okay. Or just once right now, I guess. So breakfast has to be lunch now. Lunch. Let's check that, and then do the same thing for dinner, snacks, exercise. Oh, I predicted that. Can you believe it? Lunch has to be dinner. Yeah, dinner and snacks, then exercise. Okay, perfect. Let's move on. You also need to get the value of your budget inputs. Budget, okay. You already queried that at the top and set it to budget. Okay. However, you used get element by ID, which returns an element, not a node list. Node list is array-like, whereas an element is not. Okay. For your get calories from input function, an array will work for the argument just as well as a node list does. Declare a budget calories variable and set it the result of calling get calories from input. Pass an array containing your budget number input. Okay, declare a budget calories variable. Const budget calories equals get calories from input, and then we have to put an array, I think, around it, around our budget number input. Budget number input. Actually, budget number input would be, wait, didn't we? Yeah, budget number input is up here. Okay, so I think we can just do this. As long as it's inside of an array. Yeah, okay, perfect. Your get calories from inputs function will set the global error flag to true. Get calories from inputs. Okay. If an invalid input is detected, add an if statement to your calculate calories function that checks the truthiness of your global error flag. Okay, and if it is truthy, then use return to end the function. Okay, I think we just do an if statement. If is error, then just return. I can actually do it like that, but I wonder if it'll yell at me. Nope, that's perfect. It is time to start preparing your calculation. Start by declaring a consumed calories variable. Okay, consumed calories variable. God, I hate how large this function is. Consumed calories equal to what? Assign it the sum of all these. Uh, Be sure to do this after your if statement. Yeah, okay. And we just have to add these all up. Wow, this is like super busy work right here. Dinner calories and snacks. All right, let's move on. Now declare a remaining calories variable and give it the value of subtracting consumed calories from budget calories and adding exercise calories. Oh my God. Remaining calories variable. Const equals, what do we need? Consumed, budget, and exercise. We need to subtract from that one and then add exercise calories. Something like that. Okay, should be good. No, it isn't. Why? Do I need a space here? Oh, I need a space there because otherwise it would be negative budget calories. Wait, no. Oh, budget. I need budget calories minus consumed calories. But that's not what they said. Wait, didn't I just like copy and paste this? Oh, I need to do it from that, so they do have to actually be inverted. Okay, budget calories goes here. Consumed calories goes here. All right, now let's check it. That works. We need to know if the user is in a caloric surplus or deficit. Yeah, if it's less than zero or greater than zero. Declare a surplus or deficit variable. Oh my God, this is a function. Can they please just like cut this off? Uh, Surplus or deficit variable. Const surplus or deficit variable equals set equal to. Then use a ternary operator to set surplus or deficit to the string surplus or deficit, depending on whether remaining calories is less than zero. Okay, remaining calories. Remaining calories. Okay, perfect. Is less than zero, then we need it to be a deficit or surplus. Wait, let me think about this for a second. If remaining calories is less than zero, then we should be in a surplus. I don't know. Whatever. Surplus. It'll tell me if I have this wrong, if I have it backwards. Deficit. Let's try that. Oh, it works. So let's go. We're pretty close to getting done here. You need to construct the HTML string that will be displayed in the output element. Start by assigning an empty template literal to the inner HTML property of the output element on a new line at the end of the function. Output element. Okay, so we need output dot inner HTML equal to an like empty template literal or something. Okay, that works. You'll need to lower when you need to lowercase a string, you can use toLowercase method. Your output to inner HTML string will need a span element. Create that and give it a class attribute set to surplus or deficit variable. Oh my God. Your surplus or deficit variable should be converted to lowercase. Do not give your span any text yet. Okay, so do you remember that all? We need a span with a class set to this variable, which needs to be interpolated. And we have to make sure it's lowercase, so we're going to do dot to lowercase on it. And then we have to end our span element like so. All right, perfect. And it doesn't even work. And that is because this has to be in quotes, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so I need a quote here and a quote here. Now it should work, I think. Yippee! Checkmate. Give your span the text remaining calories, calorie surplus deficit. Using interpolation to replace that, okay. With the appropriate variables. Paste here. Remaining calories. Um, Calorie deficit. Okay, so I need a $sign here and here, I think. And then I think calorie is fine. We just need this to be interpolated. Okay, let's try. Awesome, bullseye. When the user has a calorie surplus, the remaining calories value will be negative. We don't want that. So we have to use math.absolute value. And we can wrap it inside of that. Okay, math.abs inside for remaining calories. Paste, and then move this inside of the parentheses. There we go. After your span element, add an HR element to create a horizontal line after our span element. After our span, we need HR. Call in HR. Move on. Now create a P element with the text budget calories, calorie budget, budgeted. Using interpolation to replace budget calories with the appropriate value. This should be what, a span is what they said? Span with this text, $, budgeted calories, calories budgeted. And we need our end of our span. Let's try that. Okay, I need it has to be a P element, not a span. Okay, let's try that. Yay! Using the same interpolation syntax, add a second P element with the text consumed calories, calories consumed, and a third with the text exercise calories, calories burned. Remember to replace your consumed calories and exercise calorie variables with the appropriate values. So I need two more consumed calories, exercise calories. Two more of these. Consumed and consumed calories, calories consumed, and exercise calories. Exercise calories. Exercise calories. Calories exercised, I think. That's right. Now let's try it. Yay. Finally, we need to make the output element visible so the user can see your text. Make your output element visible. Your output variable is an element, which has a classless property. This property has a remove method. Okay, use the remove method of the output variable classless to remove the hide class. Don't forget to place the word hide inside quotes. Wait, what do I have to do? I need to make an output element visible. Okay. And I do that by removing its hide class. Where do I do that? Oh, just at the end of it. Okay. And I can grab my output. My output is up here, right? Output. So I just have to do output.remove. Output.classlist.remove. Okay. Oh, down here I need to do output.classlist.remove. It's hide hide class. Yeah, I think that's awesome. Let's go. If you click on your calculate remaining calories button, you'll see that nothing happens. Yeah, that's because I'm an event listener to your calorie counter element. The event type should be submit. Okay, add. Wait, no. Okay. To your calorie counter element. Calorie counter dot add event listener. It should be a type of submit. Wait, really? Okay, submit. And the callback function should be calculate calories. Okay, let's see if that works. It does. Awesome. Your final feature is to add is the ability for a user to clear the form. Start by declaring an empty function called clear form. Function clear form should not take any arguments. You need to get all the input containers. Declare an input containers variable. Const input containers and assign it to the value of querying the document. Okay, so document dot query selector all or something. Select all with the class of dot input container. Okay, I think that works. Awesome. Remember, it returns a node list, which is an array. It has a from method that accepts an array like and returns an array. This is helpful when you want to access to more robust array methods, which we'll learn about in future projects. This one converts LIs to it takes a node list of and converts it to an array of elements. Okay. Wrap your input containers query selector in array.from. Array.from and wrap that. Okay, so now it's an array instead of a node array. It's time for another loop. Create a for of with a inside loops. Oh, wait, no, with a variable called container to iterate through. Okay, so const container of input containers. Inside of our loop, set the inner HTML property of the container equal to an empty string. So we're just clearing it out. After our loop completes, you need to clear the budget input. Clear budget number input. So budget number input, set the value dot value equals empty string. Yay, let's go. You also need to clear the output element's text. Okay, so output dot inner text equals an empty string. The difference between inner text and inner HTML is that inner text will not render HTML elements. To finish off this function, we need to restore the hide class to the output elements. Okay, so output dot classlist dot add the hide method or hide class. Opposite of remove. Yep. Okay, there we go. Let's move on. Step 96, the last step. Add an event listener to the clear button. Okay, cool. Clear button dot add event listener. This should be a clear or a click, I mean, and the function is clear form. Congratulations, our project is complete. Okay, so daily calorie budget 3,000. Let's actually do this whole thing. Let's add an entry for breakfast. The name will be pancakes. Pancakes. Which is like 500 calories. And then for lunch, add an entry. We ate a steak or yogurt or sandwich. Sandwich. Yes. The sandwich is 600 calories. And then we also ate some chips, which were 400 calories. Boom, 1,000 down right there. Okay, now for dinner, add an entry. We ate a steak. Steak is like, what, 1,000 calories? I don't know. And then we didn't eat any snacks, but for exercise, we exercised, ran, and which burned like 400 calories. Okay, calculate remaining calories. Go. 900 calorie deficit. 3,000 calories budgeted. I consumed 2,500 and I burned 400 calories. And then if I clear all this, should go back to normal. And it does. Look at that. Beautiful calculator. Let's complete the project. There we go. We learned form validation by building a calorie counter. For some reason, it didn't complete my last one. Let me try that again. There we go. Now we get the check mark. Let's go. The next thing we have is review DOM manipulation by building a rock, paper, scissors game. This is only 6 challenges, so should be a shorter video. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye.